There you go. Right. Basically, we have, based on the last few lessons, we've revised on the different diversity. We've revised on diversity of animals, diversity of plants, and also living and non-living things, right? So for today's lesson, we are focusing on diversity of materials. Okay, now in terms of materials, I'm sure it's not something new to you. It's something that is covered in primary 3. So I will not go in great details. Okay, basically we're just doing revision of certain questions. I think some of you did your homework. I've marked. Generally, you did quite okay. Okay, but there are still certain misconceptions which I think you guys are not so familiar with. Okay, so in this case, well, next one is, yeah, okay. What I'll go through, I think we will not need to go through any, because all of you are actually regular students, so we will not go through the rules. The house rules, I think you're very familiar already. What I will actually highlight today is the difference between strength and flexibility. Okay, I think in terms of strength, strength and flexibility, there are a lot of differences there, right? So, but sometimes students can't identify the difference. They think that it's the same, okay? And also actually previously there's another property which is hardness. And I think a lot of times hardness is something that, you are not so familiar with as well. Okay, but before I come to hardness, I'm just going to talk about strength and flexibility first. In terms of strength, we are actually referring to whether or not something can withstand heavy loads without breaking. Okay, then in terms of flexibility, it's the ability to bend without breaking, right? So there is a difference. One is withstand heavy load, one is bending. Okay, so how can we test for strength? If you want to test for strength, you can actually place a load on material and add the load on top of each other until the material breaks, right? So then you hang the load on the material and then you add the load until the material breaks. So these are the two ways. Okay, one is placing it, one is hanging it until it breaks. So both will test for strength. Now, of course, for flexibility, you want to test for flexibility, you basically just need to bend something. Okay, bend the material, and then to the extent whereby then you can see whether the material can bend or not. Yeah, so a metal straw is strong, but a plastic straw is weak. When we talk about strength, the words or the adjectives to describe would be strong and weak. When we talk about flexibility, it's either something is flexible or something is stiff. Okay, flexible and stiff. Yeah, so that's the difference. Okay, now same thing. We're going to do half of it. Then we're going to have an activity before we, have the second half as well. Okay, so first question, Haley wanted to find out which material was the most suitable for making her swimming board that would help her float on water when she swam. Okay, Grace, please come. Grace, which of the materials should she use?
C.
Yes, answer is C, which is actually P. If you look at this, P is actually floating. Okay, of course, if you read the question very carefully, it's to help her to float on water when she swam. So it must be something that can float. Very good. This one's quite okay. Now, second question. Zaira conducted an experiment by pushing a block of material down a container of water, as shown below. She observed and recorded that the block of material rose to the surface when she removed her hand. Okay, so what is the aim of the experiment? To find out if the material is strong, to find out if the material absorbs water. Oh, Ivan, you want to try, Ivan?
C.
Well done. Okay. Because it's to find out, I mean, if you want to find out if it absorbs water, it's possible also. But you must look at the question, the observation. What is she trying to observe and record as a result? She's trying to observe and record whether or not the block of material will rise to the surface. Okay. So in order to, to observe this thing, that means this thing is going to be her results. So this results actually tells us whether or not the material floats or sinks and not whether the material absorbs water. Actually, when we push something down, we can actually test for absorbency as well, right? We want to see whether the material absorbs water. But because of what her results are, her results is to see whether it floats or sinks. So therefore, it's to find out, the aim of the experiment is to find out if it floats or sinks. Okay. Answer is C. The diagram shows a kitchen knife. Metal is used to make the blade of the knife because metal, what? Yes, Ivan?
Metal does not break easily.
Okay, very good. Metal does not break easily. That's B. Well done. Okay, does not break easily means that it's suggesting to us that the metal is strong. Okay, the adjective to describe is that it's strong. Okay, so we will, and then you have to think about the practicality of using the knife. Basically, we use the knife because it is strong. It's not really because it can reflect light. So what if it can reflect light? Most of the time, the knives that are made of metal can reflect light. But does it serve you the purpose of using a knife? Okay, so if it does not serve the purpose, then it's not really the property we're looking at. Of course, we do not want a knife that can bend. If not, it'll be very difficult to cut your fruits and vegetables and all. Okay, allowing light to pass through is not the main thing. It's secondary. It's not so important. So yes, it does not break easily. Well done, Ivan. Okay, next one. Ida put a glass solid block into a container of water. At which position, A, B, C, or D, would the block most likely be found? Catherine.
C.
C for cat, is it?
B for book.
B for boy. Yes, good. Okay, because glass is actually very dense. Very dense means that the density is high. When something has high density, it will sink. Okay, you might not have heard of the word density before, but density basically is like, whether or not something floats or sinks. If a thing has high density, it will sink. If an item has low density, it will float. Okay, so therefore the answer is B. Yeah. Okay, next one, number 5. Which of the following objects is not made of waterproof material? Grace?
A.
A, very good. Okay, not waterproof basically suggests that it is absorbent. Okay, the opposite of not waterproof is basically equals to it is absorbent. It is able to absorb water. Okay, so out of all these, the only one that can absorb water, of course, is your cotton towel, because cotton towel, it must serve its purpose of making you dry, right, after you shower. So it will have to be absorbent. It will have to absorb the water that's on your body as well. Okay. A boy is wearing a helmet that protects his head when he is skateboarding. The helmet is made of material E. Which property of material E allows the helmet to perform the function as described? Ivan?
A.
Good. Okay. Then again, if you think about it, what property would you want the helmet to have? What is the function of the helmet? The purpose and the function of the helmet, of course, is to protect your very vulnerable head. Okay, sometimes wearing a helmet really does save a life, isn't it? Right? So it has to be able to perform its function of protecting your fragile head. So therefore, it must be strong. Okay, because what is the property of strength? The property of strength is the ability to withstand weight without breaking. If there's an impact, right, when a motorcyclist or even this boy who is a skater, if he were to skate, then you will want him to you will want, when an impact comes, you will want his helmet not to break, because if it breaks, then it will affect his head, right? So strength is the property that we're looking at in terms of a helmet. Okay, flexibility, do we want the helmet to bend? Okay, if a helmet can bend, means when something comes, it will also bend and hit your head as well. So you want it to be quite firm and rigid. Okay, you do not want it to be flimsy and flexible. Yeah. Okay, next one. Mary has an inflatable swimming pool which can be folded when deflated and inflated with air to contain water as shown in diagrams below. Okay, the table shows the possible properties of the inflatable swimming pool. A tick indicates the presence of the property. Which of the following are the properties necessary to make the inflatable swimming pool? Let me see. Catherine, you want to try?
A.
A, okay, you want it to be flexible, right? Why do you want it to be flexible?
So that I can hold a lot of water.
Yeah, so that when you fill water in, it will actually be able to turn out to be the shape that you want, right? So inflatable. And yeah, why do you want it to be strong?
Because maybe if there's a strong wind and it pushes the inflatable pool, then it will fall and all the water will spill.
Very good. Okay, if it's something pushes it, it will, again, okay, if you think about it, strength is the ability to withstand weight without breaking. So if someone were to sit into it, right, sit on it, you do not want it to break easily or tear easily also. Because if it tears easily, means there's going to be a hole and then all the water is just going to spill out. Okay, so that's why you want it to be strong. And of course, it has to be waterproof, because if it absorbs water, then all the water will just disappear. It will just go into the material itself. Then there will not be a pool anymore. Okay, so these are the reasons why. Okay, question 8. The table below shows the properties of materials W, X, Y, and Z. Which material is most suitable for making the tent cover for the camping as shown? Grace.
B.
B for boy, is it?
D.
Oh, D for dog. D? Okay. Let's see, do we want it to be waterproof? Yes? Yeah. Do we want it to be flexible? Yeah. Do we want it to be flexible? Yeah. Okay, flexible basically means it can be bent without breaking. We want to bend it a bit because when we pull the tentage and all, we want it to be able to bend a little bit and not break when we pull it, okay, or we bend it, all right? Strong, of course, we will want it to be strong. Do we want it to be transparent? Why not?
The people are sleeping inside.